So what happens when Ibanez makes their Strat copy more affordable? Welcome back to the mix. I'm ABD. Today we're doing a review of the Ibanez AZES guitar, which is the affordable version of their Strat type guitar that they make. Ibanez, if you don't know, is a Japanese manufacturer of guitars, probably the most famous manufacturer of guitars in Japan. They make usually more modern focused, progressive, metal, if you will, type guitars with very flat radiuses on the fretboard and very thin necks. And for a while, they did make kind of Gibson copies, Fender copies, until lawsuits happened. They call it the lawsuit era guitars that look very much like other guitars that you might be familiar with from American manufacturers like Gibson. But now they kind of do their own thing. They exist in a place where they're doing really unique things and make a lot of people very happy. Usually you're an Ibanez fan and you have a lot of Ibanez guitars, or you might not be a fan of Ibanez really at all and own none of their guitars. Usually you're a fan or you're not. But they were very expensive. They have Seymour Duncan pickups usually, and they cost a pretty penny. But more recently, they made them available to more people by making the AZES line, which is about $300. They have this one with 3 single coil pickups, and then they have a version with a humbucker in the bridge and a whammy bar. This one is a hardtail Strat type with string through on the back. It was not a manufacturing defect. You might notice that this hole right here for that string is a little lower, but they do that to achieve a perfect intonation for the low E string. So that's not an accident. But it is a string through non-trem style S-type. So unlike most Ibanez guitars, it does have a rounder radius. It has a 10-inch radius, which you'll usually find on like a PRS. Definitely closer to a 9.5-inch like you would have on a Fender. But it's definitely a lot more round than you would usually expect to find on an Ibanez. And the neck is definitely a little chunkier too. It's not as thin as you would usually find on an Ibanez, but like I said, the finish on the back doesn't feel that great. And the sanding, whoever did it, there's some kind of dings and nicks and divots in the neck that I don't love either. And the body itself is poplar. It has a mint pickguard here with 3 ceramic pickups, which I'm not super happy that they went with ceramic pickups instead of Alnico 5 because they don't sound that good. They did all this really cool stuff with the wiring, so you can use what they call the alter switch down here to get some different combinations of the pickups, which we'll talk about in a minute. But in general, the pickups are not my favorite, but you can hear it for yourself in a second because we're going to plug it into a tube amp, a Tubemeister 20, into a V30 speaker on the floor. We have some pedals on the floor as well, some reverb in the post, and then we can plug it into a simulated amp to get some tones, and then we can wrap it up. Thank you for watching. The input jack, unlike a Strat, is on the side here as well. We have it plugged in there. And we have the alter switch off, and on the neck position, here's what you get. If we go to the 4th position, we get. If we go to the 3rd position, second position, getting into the neck pickup, which is a little bright. And then fully in the bridge position. And if we turn the volume down, acoustically, the poplar body does sound good. So if we go back to the neck position and we turn the alter switch on, a lot of that feedback goes away, and that's because we're now using the neck and the middle as kind of a humbucker in series. If we go to the 4th position, we're using these 2 pickups, but not in series. Now if we go to the middle position with the alter switch on, we're actually using the neck pickup and the bridge pickup. Definitely a unique kind of open sound. So the pickups don't sound terrible for ceramic pickups. Usually ceramic pickups are pretty harsh and kind of lack a lot of mid-range. These are very clear. Ceramic pickups are usually very clear sounding, and you can prefer them over Alnico if that's your preference. But for me, I usually like Alnico pickups more, and I kind of wish they would have went a little harder with the pickups here in this AZES. But how do they dirty up? If we put a compressor on and a tube screamer, we get this. And that was on the neck pickup. If we go to the bridge, here's what you get. If we go to the bridge, here's what you get. Cool. And then for a rat type distortion, here's what you get back on the neck. Cool. And if we turn off the compressor and we turn on an ultra metal distortion, and we go back to the bridge, here's what you get. So they're definitely not the best for high gain stuff. They are ceramic pickups, and they are single coils. But they sound pretty good for more like clean, spanky stuff. So that was with a micro Qtron Q envelope filter thing, which gets pretty funky. So now we can plug it in DI into an interface to get some simulated amp tones. So there you go. What did you think? Overall, I do think this is a pretty good guitar. For the money, $300, you could get it used for even cheaper. Good stuff, especially if you get maybe the one with the humbucker in the bridge. That might help you out a little more. It has a trem system as well. But here, it is a string through, a solid bridge, and a pretty solid neck, which feels kind of cheap, but you can get around. It does work well. The frets are polished, and the QA on the neck itself is pretty good. No sharp ends. It does feel nice and smooth going up and down the neck. But the back satin finish feels maybe a little rough and could be better. And I don't love maybe the very vintage tiny frets. I don't maybe love the Jatoba fretboard. It could definitely be probably oiled and it would feel better. The tuners are actually pretty good. You don't have to worry too much about that because you do not have a trim system. I do like the alternate switch to get the humbucking options out of the pickups, and just the different combinations in general is great. But I wish if they did all of that work for the wiring to do special stuff, maybe they would put better pickups in here, because I don't love the ceramic pickups that are included. They're not my favorite. The nut was cut pretty well, and the rest of the hardware is actually pretty nice. So if I had to give it a review, I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10. It's a good instrument for beginners. If you're a student, if you need a Strat type, maybe get something from Squier or Fender. You might be better off. But if you really love Ibanez and you really love the look of this guy, and you like all the combinations you get from the pickups or whatever it might be, then go ahead and get one of these. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And until next time, play Strats, play Ibanez's, play guitar. If you don't play guitar, maybe start. But thank you for watching, and take care. Bye now. But more recent, but more recently, they announced that they were going. But is it? But